12 cartoons that shook up animation with adult content and weirdness. What if everything you believed about cartoons was wrong? Most people think animation belongs in the playroom. Bright colors, funny animals, happy endings. But hidden in the shadows of TV history, a handful of daring creators tore up the rulebook. They built animated worlds dripping with horror. They crafted stories about death, madness, and the darkest corners of the human mind. They made shows so strange, so twisted, and so brilliant that they still haunt viewers decades later. These are not your Saturday morning favorites. These are cult classics that pushed every boundary. From MTV's experimental chaos in the early 1990s to Netflix's cosmic journey through grief, these 12 shows proved that animation can go anywhere human imagination dares to travel. 12. The Amazing Screw-On Head, 2006. In 2006, the Sci-Fi Channel aired a single 15-minute pilot that became an instant cult legend. The Amazing Screw-On Head, based on Mike Mignola's comic book, tells the story of a government agent unlike any other. His head literally screws off and attaches to different mechanical bodies. His mission? Stop ancient evil from destroying 19th-century cities. The plot is wonderfully absurd. A power-hungry Napoleon Bonaparte wants to open doorways to other dimensions filled with unspeakable monsters. Only Screw-On Head can stop him. He teams up with a zombie sidekick who has lost his memory and a mind-reading alien called Mr. Groin. The jokes fly fast, poking fun at old pulp fiction stories while delivering rapid-fire witty dialogue. The animation copies Mignola's famous style perfectly, with heavy black shadows, sharp angles, and characters with strange body shapes. The music by Christopher Drake mixes adventure themes with creepy horror sounds. Even though it runs only 15 minutes, it packs in exciting action and hints at a much bigger universe of supernatural conspiracies. The network never ordered a full series, but fans still treasure this strange gem. 11. The Midnight Gospel, 2020. When Pendleton Ward, creator of Adventure Time, joined podcaster Duncan Trussell, they made something truly unique. The Midnight Gospel on Netflix takes real philosophical podcast conversations and animates them into wild cosmic adventures. The result is a show that makes you think while your eyes feast on incredible visuals. The main character, Clancy, hosts a space podcast. He uses a broken multiverse simulator to visit dying planets and interview strange beings about death, mental health, and spiritual questions. Meanwhile, the worlds around them explode into chaos. Clowns cause apocalypses. Ancestors come back from the dead. Human faces melt. Landscapes shift like wet paint. In one episode called Taste of the King, Clancy talks with a frog teacher about psychedelics, while the universe collapses behind them in rivers of lava. The dialogue comes straight from Trussell's Real podcast, making conversations feel genuine even as cartoon madness swirls around. One powerful episode features Clancy's mother, dealing with comfort and lasting sadness. The show tackles death directly, exploring reincarnation, the illusion of ego, and the search for meaning through suffering. Composer Tristan Diamond's score and Flying Lotus's jazz-infused beats guide viewers through calm and panic. With only 8 episodes, The Midnight Gospel proves that cartoons can explore what it means to live and grieve. 10. Over the Garden Wall, 2014. Cartoon Network's mini-series, Over the Garden Wall, feels like walking through an old storybook on an autumn night. Created by Patrick McHale, this 10-episode adventure follows 2 brothers named Wirt and Greg. They wander through a mysterious land called the Unknown, meeting strange characters and facing a terrifying creature known only as the Beast. From the opening scene, where a single lantern swings through the fog, the The show captures old American folk tales. The music features fiddles and bluegrass melodies. The woods glow with orange and brown autumn colors. Wirt worries about everything while young Greg stays cheerful, creating a beautiful contrast as they navigate haunted taverns, singing ghosts, and cursed tea parties. One episode, called Into the Unknown, has the brothers escaping a field of singing corn by outsmarting them with rhymes. Mad Love features a masked ball hiding a murderous group. Yet even the scariest moments carry warmth through a loyal talking frog, Beatrice's sacrifice, and wise words. The animation looks like watercolor paintings come to life with soft colors and dreamy backgrounds. The show explores big ideas about finding home, dealing with regret, and the thin line between life and death. The Blasting Company's hauntingly beautiful score sealed its place as a beloved classic. 9. Metalocalypse, 2006 to 2013. Picture the most dangerous rock band on Earth. Now make them animated characters. That's Metalocalypse, created by Brendan Small and Tommy Blaka for Adult Swim. The show centers on Death Clock, a death metal group so powerful that their every action causes worldwide disasters. The band members include Nathan Explosion, Squisgar Squigelf, Pickles, Toki Wartooth, and William Murderface. They're treated like gods in a world always on the edge of collapse. Episodes open with face-melting guitar riffs and animated bloodbaths. Pickaxes swing, heads roll. Fans celebrate with happy violence. Behind the scenes, corporate executives plot world domination through album sales and merchandise. In the episode Death Health, the band catches a flesh-eating bacteria and demands outrageous medical care in a monster-filled hospital. Go Forth and Die shows corporate suits creating a reality show to replace Nathan, nearly destroying the planet. The animation captures detailed guitar solos with swirling camera moves that feel like real concerts. The music stands out because every song was actually composed for the show, with blistering solos, deep growls, and lyrics that mock metal cliches. Real metal legends like Gene Simmons and members of Mastodon appear as guests. After 4 seasons and specials, the show ended on a cliffhanger, staying true to its spirit of chaos. 8. Space Ghost Coast to Coast, 1994 to 2008. Before late-night talk shows embraced irony, Cartoon Network tried something wild. They took a 1960s superhero named Space Ghost and turned him into a deadpan talk show host. Created by Mike Lazo and others, Space Ghost Coast to Coast became a strange parody that interviewed real celebrities using simple animation and random humor. The setup is simple but genius. Space Ghost, who once defended the universe, now sits behind a desk asking boring questions to real actors, musicians, and even politicians. His old sidekicks, Zorak and Moltar, sabotage the production. Zorak, a giant praying mantis, mans the bandstand and insults guests with deadpan attacks. Moltar, a lava creature, edits the show live and plays weird clips at random moments. The animation reuses the same mouth movements and static artwork, creating an uncanny effect. Guests' eyes move stiffly. Space Ghost's cape flows in the same loop. The show loves its low budget, using cardboard-looking sets and sudden cuts that feel like art school experiments. Yet the awkward pacing creates its own comedy rhythm. Some interviews stay serious, while the show cuts to strange close-ups of Space Ghost's skull-like face. In one episode, Andy Kaufman recounts absurd performance art. Over 10 seasons, it turned production mistakes into comedy gold and gave birth to Adult Swim's signature offbeat, experimental style. 7. Xavier. Renegade Angel, 2007 to 2009. Imagine a creature with snake arms, backward-bending knees, and a mission to spread enlightenment. Now imagine that everything he does makes things worse. Welcome to Xavier, Renegade Angel, created by Vernon Chatman and John Lee for Adult Swim. This show follows Xavier, a self-proclaimed savior whose misguided help sets entire dimensions on fire. The visuals look like a fever dream. Long limbs twist in impossible ways. Eyes bulge out of proportion. Backgrounds swirl with kaleidoscope patterns. Xavier travels from toxic wastelands to interdimensional locations, meeting characters struggling with inner demons that sometimes become literal monsters. Every episode starts with Xavier making grand statements in a deep, echoing voice, saying things like, "I am Xavier, destroyer of lies." Then comes a flood of nonsense philosophy, absurd word combinations, and slapstick gore. In the episode Townmanship, he helps a city by destroying its furniture with psychic blasts, leaving everyone psychologically empty. In Lipstick, he battles corporate salesmen who literally sell souls in lipstick tubes. The show mocks self-help gurus, toxic masculinity, and consumer culture. Xavier's kindness almost always causes more harm than good, showing the dangers of ego disguised as helpfulness. With only 2 seasons of 6 episodes each, it remains one of Adult Swim's most divisive shows. 6. Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, 2000 to 2007. What happens when a superhero trades his cape for a lawyer's suit? Adult Swim's Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, answers that question. Creator Michael Uwelin reimagined classic Hanna-Barbera cartoon characters as legal clients. Harvey Birdman now defends Shaggy, Josie, and the Pussycats, and even Space Ghost against ridiculous charges. The show begins with Birdman's awkward shift from saving the world to saving weekend syndication profits. Lawsuits erupt over copyright claims, workplace injuries, and mind control accidents. His assistant Peanut delivers random one-liners while courtroom guards make thundering announcements about entering the legal circus. Each episode builds a comedy case. Yogi Bear faces environmental vandalism charges. Fred Flintstone sues for dinosaur-related property damage. Birdman himself gets trapped in existential crises about professional competence. Visual jokes fill every scene with quick cuts, flashing back to Birdman's superhero days. Low-budget backgrounds recall the original 1960s style on purpose. Beneath the laughs lies smart satire about legal systems and intellectual property fights. The episode Droopy Botox mocks cosmetics companies. Erstwhile explores gender roles through courtroom costume swaps. Through it all, Harvey struggles with justice versus billing hours. 5. Ren and Stimpy, Adult Party Cartoon, 2003. The original Ren and Stimpy charmed kids on Nickelodeon in the early 1990s, with its rubbery animation and toilet humor. But when creator John Kricfalusi got his characters back for Spike TV, he unleashed them into a world of openly gross, nearly obscene absurdity. This reboot pushed boundaries that even devoted fans found shocking. The Adult Party cartoon version traded family-friendly jokes for extended gags about body functions and suggestive imagery barely hidden beneath thin jokes. Ren, the nervous chihuahua, now screamed at lengths that tested vocal limits. Stimpy, the dim-witted cat, embraced a slovenly existence fueled by endless cans of gross snacks and disgusting relish-based recipes. Plots bounced between aimless non-stories like a 5-minute tribute to boogers and absurd scenarios loaded with suggestive material. The animation reflected big budgets with close-ups of dripping mayonnaise, exaggerated mouth movements, and faces morphing into impossible shapes. Every frame dared viewers to keep watching. The show flaunted its adult label with references to drinking binges and psychiatric breakdowns. Critics attacked the series for throwing away the original's subtle humor. The episode Man's Best Friend finally aired with graphic violence that blurred cartoon slapstick and genuine horror. Though it lasted only 3 episodes, the show carved out a notorious reputation. 4. Courage the Cowardly Dog, 1999 to 2002. Behind its simple setting hides one of the most disturbing cartoons ever shown on Cartoon Network. Created by John R. Dilworth, Courage the Cowardly Dog follows a nervous pink dog living on an isolated farm in a town called Nowhere. His only purpose is protecting his elderly owners, Muriel and Eustace Baggy, from cosmic horrors that appear at their doorstep. Every episode feels like a mini horror movie. Haunted windmills, time-bending cows. In House of Discontent, a singing sign lures people into a broken-down mansion filled with living paintings that trap souls. In Perfect, a man obsessed with flawlessness seals himself inside airtight suits until he suffocates from his own vanity. The colors shift from warm pastels to dark shadows the instant Courage's whiskers twitch at approaching danger. Yet the show has a tender core. Muriel's gentle voice saying, "Oh, Courage," reminds viewers about loyalty, love, and facing fears. Composer Jody Gray's score bridges whimsy and terror, layering theremin echoes over folk melodies. Episodes often end not with cheers, but with lingering shots of Courage shaking, eyes wide, while the Baggas sleep peacefully. This shows how trauma can remain even after defeating the monster. Though rated for ages 10 and up, the show never avoided adult scares, including body horror transformations and existential despair. Eustace's habit of scaring Courage with shouts of "stupid dog" added another layer of psychological pressure. 3. Invader Zim, 2001 to 2002. Nickelodeon's Invader Zim pretends to be a children's cartoon, but its gleefully mean humor and frantic visuals reveal something much darker underneath. Created by Jonan Vasquez, the show follows an incompetent alien sent by the Irken Empire to conquer Earth. Despite Earth having no real strategic value, Zim takes his mission seriously, using human disguises and a malfunctioning robot named Gur to build doomsday devices that always backfire spectacularly. From the distorted marching band opening theme to the deep space backgrounds, the show creates a feeling of manic dystopia. Zim's grand plans range from turning sunlight into explosive plasma to raising giant mutant worms beneath city streets. Each scheme spirals into slapstick destruction. GIR in his cartoon cadet uniform punctuates Zim's frustration with random childlike moments, dancing or pondering the deep meaning of waffles. The human characters serve as unwitting targets. Dib, Zim's classmate obsessed with conspiracies, suspects everything as alien invasion, but gets dismissed as a paranoid outcast. Miss Bitters, Zim's teacher, radiates such profound apathy that it becomes terrifying. Behind her drooping eyelids lies an aura of existential dread. Visually, the show is a neon nightmare with angular designs and frantic camera angles pulled from horror film climaxes. Episodes like Dark Harvest offer genuinely grotesque imagery, including animated intestines in a school cafeteria. Yet beneath the madness lies sharp satire about consumer culture and bureaucratic waste. Though Nickelodeon canceled it after 2 seasons, a cult revival through DVD releases and a 2019 Netflix special proved its lasting power. 2. Aeon Flux, 1991 to 1995. Aeon Flux wasn't just another animated sci-fi short on MTV's Liquid Television. It was an uncompromising dive into a fractured world where reality bent like melted metal. Created by Peter Chung, this avant-garde series unfolds in 2 rival city-states, Bregna and Monaca, where political schemes, body horror, and philosophical puzzles collide in wordless scenes. Episodes often run under 5 minutes, yet within that span, the story twists wildly. Characters shapeshift, die in grotesque ways, or betray one another in choreographed standoffs with no explanation. Dialogue is sparse, just whispers of conspiracies and secret orders. Aeon herself remains an enigma, a deadly secret agent whose motives stay as fluid as the landscapes she crosses. What truly set the show apart was its refusal to explain anything. Each installment posed more questions than answers. Were Bregna's rulers benevolent scientists or tyrants? Is Monica a utopia, hiding rot beneath its shiny surface? Why does Aeon repeatedly die only to reappear in the next episode, her past reset like a corrupted computer file? Watching felt like piecing together a cryptic puzzle that rewarded obsession but punished casual viewing. The series tackled mature themes including surveillance states, the ethics of genetic manipulation, and obsession with physical perfection. Episodes like Triad spiral into twisted explorations of identity as clones collide and bodies rearrange themselves. The razor-sharp animation style, with long limbs and angular frames, mirrored the show's intellectual edge and emotional distance. For audiences craving something beyond the brightly colored safety of mainstream animation, Aeon Flux was a revelation. A beautiful, brutal kaleidoscope where every scene challenged expectations and every death felt like a door to deeper mysteries. After its initial run, Aeon Flux inspired a 2005 live-action film and cemented its place as a cult landmark. The real magic lives in those 5-minute bursts of avant-garde art that dared to render the adult mind in abstract, merciless strokes. 1. The Maxx, 1995. At first glance, the Maxx looks like a regular superhero cartoon, a bulky hero in purple tights, a grim cityscape. But beneath its comic book surface lies one of the darkest animated shows ever produced. Based on Sam Keith's Image Comics series, the show aired on MTV's Oddities block, weaving together two parallel worlds. One world is the Outback, a dreamlike realm where architecture shifts and strange plants invade everywhere. The other is the cold concrete jungle of the city, where social workers and therapists struggle with trauma. The main character wears hulking armor and believes he protects Julie, a therapist who also works as his social worker in the real world. Their relationship and his confused memories drive the story into deep psychological territory. Each episode jumps between the Max's heroic battles against monsters representing childhood fears and Julie's attempts to heal broken people in the city. Flashbacks reveal her own haunting past, including abuse and neglect. The animation style increases disorientation, with backgrounds melting into smeared watercolors. Composer John Frizzell's discordant score tugs at emotions one moment and jars the senses the next. The show never avoids depression, post-traumatic stress, or self-destructive coping. In one heartbreaking arc, Julie confronts her former foster family in the Outback, only to relive the abandonment she tried to escape. Meanwhile, the Maxx faces a godlike villain named Mr. Gone. Despite lasting only 13 episodes, it proved cartoons could grapple with mental health without sanitizing the pain. These 12 cult cartoons broke every rule. They invited us to explore nightmares, ponder complex truths, and embrace the bizarre edges of what animation can achieve. From a government agent with a detachable head to a nervous pink dog facing cosmic horrors, these shows proved that cartoons have no limits. They tackled mental health, political satire, existential dread, and the meaning of life. They used every animation style from watercolor dreams to neon nightmares. They refused to explain themselves. And that's exactly why they became legends. If you've journeyed through these strange worlds, which oddball masterpiece will you watch next?